Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the re-sculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.
When it comes to self-care, ginger can be used in more than just your diet. Try Ginger with 2 J's, a new all-natural ginger essential oil designed to help rejuvenate your mind and body. Ginger's special extraction process results in a higher purity ginger oil, and it comes pre-mixed with carrier oils, so it's always ready to use. Plus, the convenient dropper cap ensures you get the perfect amount every time. Get 20% off your first purchase today at jinjer.us/podcast. That's ginger.us/podcast.
What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. I'm your host, Steve V, and if you can believe it, this is episode 300 alongside back in business, Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Really, really good on this Monday. Doing good. And joining us is Kodi Maurice Doggette. How are you?
Hello, darling. I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. A little rough around the edges as I was watching the Emmys last night, and then went out and met a really kind of a sexy guy who was from Texas.
Ooh.
And Jeremy, you'll appreciate this because I ended up going home with him, and he was staying. You know the gym Equinox, right?
Yeah, at Hudson Yards.
Yeah, so there's an Equinox apparently at Hudson Yards. If you don't
There's
know,
an Equinox hotel there.
yes. So this, if you don't know Hudson Yards, we were just talking about it offline. When did it go up? A few years ago? It's
Yeah,
this
like
whole
maybe 4
on the
years
west
ago.
side. Yeah, and it's comprised of, a really high-end mall, but we were talking about a really cool Spanish market in there. They do outdoor films, and the Edge is there, which is a lookout area right next to the High Line. And so he was staying at the Equinox, and I was like, the gym? And so I didn't realize it's this high-end hotel. And anyways, we had fun, but afterwards we were falling asleep, and he immediately started to snore. And I thought, I cannot do this. And I said, you're snoring. And he woke up. He said, oh, yeah, I snore.
Did you hit him?
I just met him, but he hit me.
Oh,
or
my
should
goodness.
I say, and yeah, but so I literally was like, oh, wow, he's aware of it too. And I tried to sleep. I could not. And I just got up and showed my way out of the place, because it would have been nice. We were talking of Kodi about morning sex recently. It would have been nice to have morning sex, but
Yes.
I went home. It was still dark, thank goodness. But
And you slept better.
Well, right, but the whole thing about the Equinox Hotel, it's one of those places where you go up one floor only to have to go into another like lobby and go up another floor. So I went down and I'm like, where's the freaking lobby? Like, where? Because it put me on floor 26 or something like that. And I'm roaming around, and there's this really cool bar, but it's like after hours. And I had to ask like this cleaning woman, excuse me, but how do I get out of here? And so she literally like said, oh, and she like walked me over to the right elevator to get out of that place, because it's a whole, Fort Knox kind of situation. And I was like freaking out. Kind of like a maze. Yeah.
Okay.
It was cool, but yeah, between the snoring and feeling trapped, I had to get out of there. But
Girl.
yeah, I know. Exactly. Before we get into hot sex topics, Jeremy, I'm just curious, what was your I'm sure you saw some of the fashions at the Emmys, and I noticed a couple things that a lot of our LGBTQ plus are really serving it in the fashion world. Like, no longer is the tuxedo running rampant. What are your thoughts on some of these out there fashions by our community?
I like some of them. Some of them I'm not in love with. So I like the ones that are like very contemporary but still somewhat traditional. I didn't really love the outfit for the guy from Schitt's Creek. I didn't really
Oh my
love
God, I was going to say
like
that. Dan
purple
Levy.
moment.
I hate
Yeah,
it. A
I didn't
horrible
like the
blue
color, and it was all like a lot of
material and
fabric and
boxy.
long, and yeah, I wasn't really a fan of it. I loved the Versace on what's that guy's name that does uh
SNL?
the the
Oh, no.
evening show.
Oh,
He's mixed and he's really cute,
oh,
and
Trevor
yes.
Noah?
Trevor Noah, yeah.
yes, him. He
Not
looked
in our
excellent.
LGBTQ world, but yes, he
No,
looked
I know, yeah,
amazing.
that's like wishful thinking, but he did look
I
amazing.
know.
And that was one outfit that I really loved out of just the red carpet in general. And I loved MJ from Pose
MJ
Love her. Oh my
Rodriguez.
gosh.
in the Atelier Versace that she wore. That was custom made for her.
Yeah, and I liked Bowen Yang. He's on SNL. He was nominated, one of the first Asian LGBTQ actors nominated, and he had this amazing, I forget the suit, but it was just classic, and then he had these silver platform boots that reminded me of David Bowie that I
Oh
thought was
yes, I liked his was
I thought
fun.
that was kind of a cool, like, inching it. To me, if you're not known for being Billy Porter and
Yeah.
and theater, then I don't know that all of a sudden, like Carl Clemens Hopkins, who's on Hacks, who's
Hmm.
beautiful man, had Christian Siriano on, and it was like a deconstructed suit. It looked like a dress, though, to me, and it was just I don't know. Call me old fashioned or out of the times, but seeing off the shoulder and his hairy chest did not work for me. I don't know. What were
Oh,
your thoughts on that?
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta
I did
Google some
not
of these
like it.
looks.
I didn't like that belt and that whole. Yeah, it was very like a woman version of Aladdin for me.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And but I can't be too mad because I'm probably a little mad because I did slide into his DMs and he didn't respond back. So that could have something to do with it too, why I'm giving that. But anyways, it was a lot of fun and yeah, I was happy for some of the winners. Let's get into some hot sex topics. And over the weekend, we got a message from a guy named Jeremiah who said we should talk about this, and apparently Grindr was down. I don't know if you guys noticed it at all. I use Scruff and a new app called Sniffies. More to come on that. But somebody wrote Grindr. At Grindr, can we get an update or something? This is fucking ridiculous. How does this even happen? You would think things like this could be avoidable. I pay for extra. We deserve answers. And then somebody else wrote at Grindr yet again. Grindr not working in the UK, but I think it was prevalent all over. Did you guys hear anything, or were you trying to get laid this weekend, Jeremy, and
No,
notice anything?
I didn't notice that, to be honest. But I could see how
Yes.
it would be frustrating, especially on the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what is up with Grindr? I mean, yeah. Did you hear anything, Cody, on your end? Because
I
I
did
can't believe that.
not. I should have put my grinder feelers out so I could. I, I don't have. I have a boyfriend now, so I don't really get on Grinder
Did you
anymore.
delete it?
I deleted it. Can you believe it?
I can,
Shocker.
yeah.
But
What's that,
yeah,
Cody?
so I have to. I have to put my Grinder feelers out. I'll talk to the Grinder crew and I'll let you know what they say
They're,
because that
yeah,
sounds annoying.
yeah, they're always in the news, not always for good stuff. And I think to have something break down like that, I mean, the Panic City, I could just see like, what? We cannot get laid, particularly if you're in rural parts that, maybe you don't have bars to go to and stuff like this, and you rely on stuff like this. So, on that note, though, we are going to have, we talked about Sniffies, this new, I don't think you were on the show, Jeremy, when we talked about it. It's a new
No, I haven't heard about it.
it's a new location based website, and I think there's an app coming out. I'm not sure. They wrote into us because they heard us talking about it, and they're going to have somebody from their team come on the show soon, which will be great, so we can really pick their brains. But it's all designed to kind of cruising. So, like, who's in your area that you might want to meet in the park, or I think
Mm-hmm.
Kodi and I were
Yeah, we
Crate
checked
and
it out.
Barrel, I think I said, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just a whole thing. All right. Well, good luck to Grindr. I hope you people got laid, and if you were trying to log on there. But there's Grindr's also in the news. Here's some news for you. A man who has been found guilty of grooming a 15-year-old boy on Grindr and then buying him a prepaid mobile SIM card in exchange for sex has been jailed for 1 year only. And this 26-year-old Singaporean met the teenager back in 2019 and this week pleaded guilty to one charge of sexual penetration of a minor under 16. After downloading the app in 2018, the victim learned he could earn money by soliciting his body. He then posted that he needed a SIM card, and the guy asked what he could get in return for getting him one. So on the day they met, the man asked the boy how old he was and proceeded to have sex with him even after the boy revealed his real age, which we now know is 16. So,
What?
but that's crazy that you would, I mean, if this is in Singapore, but 1 year, I mean, that's nuts. And it makes me think, because I'm so glad I didn't have social media. And when I was a teenager, I mean, I was still figuring out my sexuality, and I think masturbating was the most I ever did. But
Yeah.
what about you, Jeremy? What are your thoughts on this? Could you have handled it at 16? I know you were looking at porn, but how old were you?
No, I think I was still too immature and definitely wasn't not in the mindset to meet up with anyone. And also, like, even now I'm very cautious about, like, speaking to people or meeting up with anyone, making sure that they are definitely like
Who they are?
my age limit is
Hmm.
kind of like maybe 21 is the lowest I'll go. But I definitely don't dabble in the realm of the teens like whatsoever.
And when somebody says they're 21, do you almost want to see? Because I think the end of this article says just another reason why users of hookup apps should ask to provide proof of age to access them. But I mean, can't you lie about your age? I guess unless, you, I mean, I don't know, Kodi, couldn't you just lie and say you're
And
one age? Or?
oh yeah, for sure. And I had a fake ID at 19 and 20 years old. So don't tell my mom, but that's completely possible, as in the realm of possibility as well. So I don't know. You have to protect yourself. You have to make sure and verify. There's so many ways out there that you can actually verify somebody's age just by going online and on social media and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary business, and I just think, be careful out there. But this was a truly lascivious act, and I think, having sex with a minor and only getting 1 year seems like not enough time
That
on
is
that. I don't know.
ridiculous. Yeah.
In other crazy news, an Italian priest stole thousands in church funds to buy chemsex drugs. So, a Tuscany based priest told parishioners that he was collecting money for low income families, and then he spent the money on chemsex drugs. Over the last 2 years, Father Francesco Spagnesi is said to have hosted over 200 people at gay sex parties who police are now interviewing. And they found that after Spagnesi's flatmate smuggled a liter of GHB from the Netherlands, it's believed the two would use the hookup apps to invite men for parties and then provide the drugs. And I just think so. Then it says a parish accountant also recently found that 100,000 was taken from its account, which police have believed was used to buy drugs. So that's nuts. That I mean, more how repressed do you have to be to like go against the church, take a vow of celibacy, and then not only have sex, but then provide horrible drugs that we all know lead down a downward spiral. I mean,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts when you hear this, Kodi?
I just think it's deplorable. I can't believe that story. I grew up Catholic, so I could never see the priest that I grew up admiring or even really just kind of looking up to growing up. I couldn't see them doing that, but the more I hear these stories, the more and more it's becoming commonplace. Uh, so the Catholic Church really has to do something about this.
Yeah, and I mean, I went to Catholic school as well, and my all through grade school into high school, and I remember there was a Monsignor in our parish that he they had to let him go because he was accused, I think, of molesting little girls. And
What?
so, and then yeah, and then in high school I had, we called him, well, I think it's probably okay to say his name. Father Rusty was his name. And he was
Okay.
really, really cute. And I think I've told the story once before. And later, I think he was a brother, though, not a priest. And I'm not sure what the whole thing is on brotherhood versus being a priest. But when I was in college, somehow I had met up with him my freshman year, or
Uh-huh.
I saw him out and I gave him my phone number, and I nursed this kind of communication for a minute, which I mean, I was of age, so I could have hung
Uh-huh.
out with him. I did feel like he blew up my phone a little bit too much, like maybe he was desperate in some way. And so I ended up cutting it off and ghosting him because I just thought it was a little too close to home and creeping me out a little bit, even though he was kind of cute, kind of
Was
in a
he
nerdy way.
still a father at this time?
See, I'm sure he had to have been, or a brother. See, and that's a
Wow.
thing. If any of you guys know out there what, I know I'm not going to ask you, Jeremy, because I know you did not grow up this in the Catholic religion, correct?
I did, but I
Oh,
didn't associate with it. Like I my parents didn't make me go, and I didn't believe anything, and I have no attachment to any sort of religion.
yeah, crazy. I know. Anyways, okay, moving on. This is an interesting story. If Governor Gavin Newsom signs a bill to this effect, California would be the first state to take an action. And we're talking about California may soon become the first state to make it illegal for someone to remove a condom during sex without the other person's knowledge or permission.
What?
And legislators Tuesday approved a bill adding the adding the act to the state's definition of sexual battery under civil law. According to the Associated Press, it doesn't make it a crime involving jail time, but instead allows for lawsuits over non consensual condom removal.
Oh,
And it's awaiting for the governor to sign. But apparently, it's reported that there are online communities that defend and encourage what is called as stealthing, and that's the removal of a condom secretly. And they give advice on how to get away with removing the condom without the consent of their partner. But there is nothing in law that makes it clear that this is a crime. And it's just crazy because we all know, I mean, Jeremy, you and I were talking recently on how you were part of an NYU study where you used to get PrEP, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you changed insurance and it's expensive. The drug is expensive because I know recently there was a mix up with my insurance company and they said they weren't going to cover it. I got it fixed, but it's like thousands and thousands of dollars if you were just to not have insurance. So I guess my point being is you were talking about Mr.
Mm-hmm.
MISTR .com where you can get PrEP, correct, or Truvada.
Yes, and it
Um,
was a really easy process, and uh, it shipped straight to your house, so it cuts out all of the the appointments and middlemen that are part of just getting the prescription and everything, and
and
you
then
just go straight to an interview with the uh, doctor over a phone call, and also you get sent a kit that you send back for all of your blood work and results.
oh,
HIV
wow.
testing and so forth, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
I love that. But clearly, as you know, thank God for Mr., but not everyone can get on Truvada. And so people, practicing safe sex. And this is crazy that people, I didn't even know that stealthing was a thing. Have you guys ever heard of it? Kodi, have you heard of this before?
Oh yeah, I've definitely heard of it before. I actually was watching porn one time, and it's like a subcategory on some of the porn sites where, and I was
Yeah,
like,
I've actually
"What
seen it
in
on
the
I've seen it on
world is
Pornhub
this?"
before.
Yeah, yeah. So
Wait,
it's
it's
a
a
thing, and people.
subcategory. Say it again, Kodi.
It's a subcategory on like Pornhub where stealthing is like you can click on it, and then all these stealthing videos. People record it, and I'm
Oops.
flabbergasted by this.
Wow. So actually admitting and taking pride and filming them stealth and take off the condom as they're fucking whomever is
Yeah,
that's nuts and
it's
sick.
crazy.
And I'm so happy California, I hope Governor Gavin Newsom, signs this. It would be interesting on how you would prove it, because who's really, for some of these videos, though, this would
I was
definitely
gonna
be a
say,
way where
and
you
people are
could,
recording it, so
yeah, it's going to make a lot of that whole community think twice about it. Because if it has a name and people are giving advice on this kind of thing, on how to do it, people are, I don't know where this sick mindset comes from, but you could prove it just by the videos that exist, right?
Right.
totally, I would think so.
Yeah, that is nuts. I mean, I hope he signs it. I hope everybody else, all states do the same thing, because
Well,
I just think that's,
California has been leading in that area because they have made revenge porn not legal as well too. So
oh, yes,
yeah,
yes. I like that. And what's the whole story behind that? That you can't, because essentially revenge porn is what? You are mad at your ex and you have a previously published or a video of the two of you fucking, and now you're going to, what, put it out there?
put it out there for everybody to see and kind of shame them into. I mean, you're in the video too, so I don't see what the point is. Like both of
Yeah.
you should be shamed. So I don't know, but yeah, I think that it kind of is embarrassing to the people, all the parties involved, especially the person that didn't release the video. So
Right.
yeah, it's criminalized in California.
Good. Oh, see, where my home state is always leading the pack. Thank you,
Doing the damn
California.
thing.
They say variety is the spice of life. They also say that Drizzly is like having the world's largest liquor store in the palm of your hand. So why not combine the two things they're constantly talking about with Drizzly, the #1 app for alcohol delivery? Compare prices on a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. Always find what you want, like my favorite Casal Garcia Vino Verde that I'm often drinking when we record TAGSPodcast. Get drinks delivered right to your door in under 60 minutes, no travel, no hassle. Drizzly connects you directly to their local liquor stores to compare prices for the best deals and access the widest selection of beer, wine, and liquor. So go check out Drizzly now by downloading the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Use promo code SPICE5 for $5 off your first order. That's drizzly.com and use code SPICE5 for $5 off. Do you have a cabinet full of acne treatments and skincare products, but don't even remember what half of them do? Hey guys, your buddy Steve V here, and I've been known to be a sucker for skincare products, but, to be honest, I've always taken care of my skin, even as a little boy when my mom used to buy me Sea Breeze. Do you guys remember that? Sea Breeze? To clean the dirt on my dirty skin and prevent acne. But after overpaying and consulting professionals like dermatologists over at Apostrophe, I've learned less is more, and good skincare doesn't have to be expensive at all. You just have to pick your products wisely and always use SPF. So here's the deal. It turns out most skincare products don't do much. The best way to treat acne is with fewer products that are clinically proven and customized to your skin. And that's why I'm excited to partner with Apostrophe. Apostrophe is a prescription skincare company that offers science-based oral and topical medications that are clinically proven to help clear acne. Apostrophe connects you with a board-certified dermatologist who will create a personalized treatment plan that is perfectly tailored to your unique skin. All you got to do is simply fill out Apostrophe's online quiz about your skin goals and medical history, then snap a few selfies, and your dermatologist will create your customized treatment plan. Apostrophe treats acne, and they can also help you hit your other skincare goals like reducing redness, wrinkles, and even dark spots. I can tell you my experience with Apostrophe online was so easy. All I did was upload a few close-up selfies of my skin and fill out this thorough yet short questionnaire of my skin. Dr. Skindamis circled back the same day with my very own skincare regimen. I loved how quickly my prescription arrived to my house so I could get started, and I can honestly say that my product has visually improved the appearance of my skin tone. It's appearing more even and smooth while fading away the two dark spots I've always wanted to cover up. The entire experience was seamless, and I'm really loving the results. Well, we have a special deal for our audience here at Tags. You can save $15 off your first visit with a board-certified dermatologist at apostrophe.com/tags when you use our code TAGS, TAGS. This code is only available to our listeners. So to get started, simply go to apostrophe.com/tags and click Begin Visit. Then use our code TAGS at sign up and you'll get $15 off your dermatology visit. That's apostrophe, apostrophe.com/tags. And use that code TAGS, TAGS, to get your dermatology visit and save $15. And we really thank Apostrophe for sponsoring Tags Podcast. All right. Well, somebody recently wrote in and asked for advice, and I thought we could give them some. It's the subject line is trying out the switch. So the guy writes, so I tried bottoming like 9 years ago and had an awful experience. All pain, no pleasure, he writes. I figured, guess I'm a top, right? And have stuck to that, but have always been curious about the very obvious pleasure guys get from bottoming. I figured I must have just had a bad experience and that it was time to try again. So he writes that I found someone very experienced prostate massaging, experienced prostate massage, figuring that would do the trick. But I had the same result, all pain, no pleasure. And so he wants to know, is he just destined to always be a Tom? And I guess I have my thoughts on this. I'll go last, but Jeremy, as for the most part, would you call yourself a top or versatile, or do you identify?
So I would say solely a top, but I definitely, if I was going to give advice for someone to dabble or just try and figure out what it is that they like, I would definitely suggest toys on yourself so that you have the control rather than someone else. I think that that makes you the most comfortable. And I also know when I was in a relationship, it's it doesn't always work to your benefit to stay in one position. So sometimes my partner wanted to like play around with it or whatever, and I would have to flip. Not have to, but I would do it
Right.
because it was pleasurable for my partner. And so I definitely feel like if you are able to control it yourself and test it out with toys and things like that on your own, and you have the control, it helps you ease into when you're actually going to do the real thing.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally
And
agree.
Cody, are you primarily identify as a top? Correct me if I'm wrong. And
I
then
would say versatile top because sometimes I feel like a nut. You know, sometimes you get that itch back there and it's time to go to work.
yes, it is. And but I ask you too, in particular, if you could get maybe understand and get in the mindset of this guy who has tried it, but just figured it's always so painful. Is there anything in here where you identify with where it's just like it's not for me, Kodi?
I can see that a little bit. I can see how because I have bottomed before and it hasn't always I normally tend to go for guys with smaller packages because I feel like that is more my speed as far as bottoming is
Good things
concerned.
come in small packages
Hey,
sometimes.
if they know how to
Hey,
if they know how to work it, then that's all they need to know, right?
yes, right.
So I'm I feel like he should ease into it, like Jeremy said, with the toys. And also, if you eat, like, if you do frottage, like, well, no, analingus is what it's called, I think. Yeah.
Okay, describe that.
When you eat an ass out,
Right.
if you start by eating out the ass and fingering around there, just playing around with it more. I don't know exactly what he's been doing that has been making it so painful. Just kind of explore back there beforehand before they stick it in. They go to town on him.
Yeah, and as more of a bottom verse here, for my standpoint is the professional here. I would like to just quote Dr. Goldstein, who is we call him the good ass doctor, who's been on the show several times, and he is such a fan of toys, like you were saying, Jeremy. And I would. I'll send you his link. You can go to Bespoke Surgical. He's got some great videos and some specific toys that he recommends when you're starting out. And as you can imagine, there should never be pain is the thing that he's always stated. And he always start small. And I think, like anything, it is a muscle. You can't just start on the largest size ever. And it's better to, like you said, Jeremy, start in the home and start with smaller toys because you've got to get that relaxed and get it used to it so that it's not painful. And once you discover that it's not, it actually becomes a pleasurable because the prostate can produce pleasure and you can enjoy the pleasures that it has to offer. And then I think if you're looking to do it with somebody finally, and that's all like time, right? I mean, this takes
Yeah.
time with by yourself. I think you can continue to have sex. Or I loved what you were saying, Kodi, is you can start with somebody that's patient and have them eat your ass because that should just be pleasurable. There should be no pain
And it
in
is.
that. It's very pleasurable, and I think that if you start with something like that, somebody's going to think it's really hot, and I think it would be really hot for somebody that's normally a top to want to you know get them into this, and eating their ass would be kind of hot. So I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to go about it, but practice and patience and not ramming anything up your ass. And again, going to bespokesurgical.com, where he's just got some great videos on there and recommended toys that he endorses that will really just relax the area and turn something that was painful and that normally gave anxiety can now be associated with pleasure. And you just got to hit that turning point for you. And I think it's possible for anybody to switch. And I also liked what you said, Jeremy, is that when you are in a longer term relationship or you are starting a relationship or whatever the case may be, you want to keep it fresh and you want to change things up. And you really, the same old sex that you had is not going to work months down the road. So I think
Right.
mixing it up is always going to be so much better. And I love that advice. So yeah, absolutely. mixing it up, and I hope that helps. I will email you back the Dr. Goldstein, because he has another site too with some videos on just how to get that muscle relaxed so that you can actually enjoy it. So good luck with that. And if you have a sex conundrum or you want relationship advice, you can always ask us for advice. DM us on our Instagram at TAGSPodcast. And by the way, on this week's Dark and Dirty that I just released yesterday for exclusive content, I gave my top 5 countdown to filming myself. And we're talking amateur porn here. And I counted them down. And yeah, it was fun going through the videos and picking my top 5, counting my way down. And I give a lot of exclusive details. And you can find that by going to tagspodcast.com and looking for exclusive content. There is, moving on, there is an artist out there, Tavares, I believe he goes by the name. Do you guys know him? Mike Tavera?
I've seen that.
He's cute. Yeah, he just dropped a brand new single called Sex for Breakfast featuring Ali X. The album's going to be called Cut Velvet in 2022, and it's a really cool 80s new wave sound. It's got some 70s synth to it. I was listening to it and I like it. Yeah, it's pretty good. He's sexy, and when asked what fueled the song, he said Sex for Breakfast was one of those lightning in a bottle songs, Tavera says in a press release. The idea came to me after an intense morning with this guy I was head over heels for. We were essentially dating, but kept pretending it was a fling. We ended up in this almost masochistic cat and a mouse game, knowing we were so right together, but both being too uncomfortable to admit it. And that, I love that quote because I can
like
kind of, it does. But I mean, yeah, can you relate to any of that statement, Jeremy, of being so enamored with somebody, but you're just kind of, this person you could, shack up with, and you're so intensely drawn to? And is that something that you would even want?
I feel like I've had that in the past where it's like it's it's not good for you, but you want it and you need it, but you can't have it type of thing.
Yeah.
And you just play that game of like back and forth where you lie to yourself and you say that, oh, it'll work, and try and make it work, or just try and see that person more, and then too many strings, it feels like too many strings attached and something gets in the way. And yeah,
it's a roller coaster ride, and I can totally relate to what you're saying too. And mine is somebody that I've talked about on the show before, that we ended up having a listener write in. Remember that story? That,
I remember that.
Yeah, and he was asking about questioning whether his boyfriend was serious and not cheating, and I was actually involved in the story, and so it was this whole thing. But
so juicy, by the way.
when I was dating this guy, though, who I knew back in the 90s, and then we resurrected it a few years back, it was long distance, of course, because he was in San Francisco, but it was so intense, and we could spend so much time together. The sex was amazing, and I could just, it wasn't even like we had to go out at all. We could just stay in his condo, and it was like we were in each other's arms. We were so drawn to each other. And but I always left feeling there was a little bit of an aloofness to it. In other words, he wasn't really texting me, but all I had to do was say, oh, I'm back in town. And he was like, let's get together. But that aloofness, and then one time he actually referenced our situation as, well, I'm dating you, because he was saying, well, I'm dating this one guy, and I also consider I'm dating you too. And I was like, oh, you think we're dating? And that sent a whole bolt of energy through me just by him saying and considering that we were dating. I was like, oh my God, and we're going to get married. And this guy, I mean, You took it all the way there? Well, because we were, Yeah, because when we were together, it was so intense. But then there would be little things that
Yeah.
it just seemed like he wouldn't come out to visit me. And so then I would be like, oh, well, he's not as interested as I thought. But like I said, he would drop everything and make time for me in his schedule. And when we were together, it was time well used, and we were really intensely together. I'll never forget at Christmas time going to a Christmas dinner with him, and there was a pole, like we're walking, and there was this like beam, and I walked on one side of it, and he walked on the other, and he said, "You didn't come over to my side and hold my hand." And I thought,
Aw.
I know. And that again, I was like, oh, see, we are. So I got so invested, but it, like to you, Jeremy, it was a roller coaster ride. And ultimately,
Mhm.
I think he's really happy with his boyfriend now. And I'm happy for them. And I'm glad that it took a long time to get over that too. And so I
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly if Tavera's talking exactly about that, but when he says, an masochistic cat and mouse game, that resonated with me. I'm just curious, Kodi, does any of that resonate with you? Are you currently in that with your boyfriend?
Can you imagine?
I
No,
know,
it's not
right?
like that at all.
I know it's not.
It's so reciprocal, it's crazy. But I have been in that situation before. As a matter of fact, that when you were telling your story, it was kind of bringing back old feelings for me because I used to be in this relationship and I would get mixed signals. Like I feel like you were getting mixed signals. Was
Yes.
definitely getting mixed signals from this guy, and it took his friend pulling me to the side. We took a cab one time, and he was like, "You know that he's not really that into you, right?" And from then and
Yes.
there, yeah, I told the story before, but he told me that, and then I was like, "Well, I guess this is done now because I can't." Be all in with someone and they not even really reciprocate. That's like the first thing that has to be in a relationship for me. They have to be attracted to me. They have to be about me, basically. So,
But it's just so crazy because for somebody, we all know stories where it's like, oh, I don't think, yeah, you say reciprocal. I get that. We've all been in situations where you like somebody a little less than they like you. And
is
then
that the
you just
case?
sort of,
Does that happen?
well, like I've been with people, it's like I've dated somebody and then I've realized, oh, I've let this play out enough time, and I'm just not. It's not for me, right? And so I'll just
Yeah.
sort of maybe not be so available anymore.
Yeah.
And usually this is when I'm dating somebody, and I will realize that what, I tried this, but I'm realizing we haven't made any commitments by any means. It's like 3 to 5 dates, and I kind of just think of them more as a friend, or I don't want to. So I'll just like maybe not be as available, and then they kind of get the point, and it moves on.
Yeah.
To me, like what this guy's talking about is when there's moments of intensity from both sides, and that takes a lot of energy. And it reminds me, Jeremy, remember a while ago, you may not want to conjure up this, but you dated this guy and it was kind of hot and cold.
Mhm.
Here in New York City, he gave me that Mexico canister thing.
Mhm.
And it seemed hot and cold, right? That
Yeah,
kind of
all
what
the
I'm
time.
referencing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that is to me a little different than being reciprocal. It's just crazy, the mind games. And I don't know, I think I'm looking more for something that is going to be, I guess, truly reciprocal, like what you have, Kodi, now, because I think it's just so much, it can just have your mind go crazy, right?
Yeah. When there's uncertainty there, that's when you really start to doubt yourself. That's when like your self-worth is kind of you doubt your self-worth and all those emotions come into play. So,
Yeah, yeah,
healthy
I agree.
relationships are where it's all at.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, all right. That's all the time we have for today. You can stay tuned for a Tags Live this Wednesday with Kodi and myself. Looking forward to that. I want to thank you guys. This has been a lot of fun. And
Always.
You can always follow Jeremy on Instagram at @JRossLopez. You can follow Kodi. He's got two. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching or at Mr. Maurice. Thanks, guys. This has been so much fun.
Thank
Definitely.
you, Steve.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
and in the
Jeremy.
meantime, continue having hot gay sex.
Some read self-help books. Others use meditation. At New Balance, it's believed that peace can be found with a run. You're never truly prepared for adversity, but certain things serve as a guide for moving forward. Whether sprinting or running marathons, the physical and mental requirements become ingrained. Visualizing an outcome, synchronizing breath and body, pushing past pain and fatigue. Those hard-learned lessons serve as a blueprint for overcoming obstacles and achieving balance in life. Go beyond the run at newbalance.com.
Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the re-sculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.